Lymington, looking at some amazing Jeanneau boats, and we've got behind us the Cap Camarat 9WA. We're very excited to go and have a look around that, a very close look around that, and present you with a detailed walkthrough. It's a 2022 model, and it's got some amazing additions on it, including a joystick.
Yeah, very nice indeed.
Which adds amazing functionality to it, and it's a very sporty boat, as you will see as we go around and show you.
Yes, absolutely. So come on, let's go and have a look at it. And you can see there as well these characteristic privacy plexiglass style windows that are the side of a lot of Jeanneaus. But as you'll see when we get inside, some really nice lighting through those and lovely views out from the master cabin underneath there. The lifting points, hoist points, obviously marked by Jeanneau. Little side opening windows here. Mid cleats as well on this 9, and cleats obviously to the front and rear as well. But just a really nice looking boat from the outside, and as Nikki was saying earlier, a really sporty boat. Speeds in excess of 40 knots, and a real performance craft. And you can see obviously with the screen there and that T-top, which is an optional extra with the screen there, it's certainly a wind in your hair boat, that's for sure. This boat obviously has the swim ladder, which is just down there with these two sort of grab pieces there, and if we just climb on, and you can see there that this bit here just lifts up, and it allows that ladder to slide out and then drop down into the water, so you can deploy your swim ladder there. And you can see as well at the back here, you've got your shore power inlet, you've got the first of the twin fuel tanks, fillers at the back here, and you've also got here just a little small locker storage area at the back here. You can see as well that there's an absence of any steering rams. That's because these are the new electric steer 250s, and that's really lovely technology that's relatively recent, and which we'll show you once we get up to the Helm station. And you can see there with those two big twin 50s, just got the up and down lift there, which just lifts them up out of the water. Up out of the water, and so that when they're fully up there, you can see there's plenty of room at the back here to get them tilted right up, just a tiny bit of the gear leg back in the water there, albeit that's because we're at the back of the boat, but also that would probably be clear of the water, just depending on fuel load and load of the passengers. So nicely clear of the water. You're not going to get any build up there, particularly if you're in seawater, salt water as they are here. It just helps to stop that build up of nasties whilst you're not using your boat. And therefore what that means is when the engines are down, you've got some grab handles here as well. You know, you can move across the back of the boat. Lovely little bit of flexi teak obviously fitted to all these decks and to the cockpit area throughout the boat. So that's an option for these Jeanneaus to have the flexi teak, but it does give it a really nice contrast to that white GRP and a really nice finish on the decks. But it gives you a really good space here. You can see obviously they've got the post here for skis or for similar for towing, and therefore it gives you a good wide space to be able to work there, get everything tied on, secured, ready for your day's fun out on the water. So you can see this bench seat is fitted on in position. It doesn't slide forward and back as a lot of the Jeanneaus do, because it doesn't need to, because you've got that extra space at the back there for the boat tilt. But of course this bit here does lift, which gives you a really good storage space under that main bench seat here at the back. And you'll obviously see the hinging here, that's for the cockpit locker underneath here, which we'll have a look at in a sec. Got a manual bilge here, that's just as simple as lifting that cover and then using the pumping handle here to insert there. And while we're down here, you can just see here we've got the category for the boat itself. It's a B6, a C10 or a D10. so really good sea handling capabilities with that B6 categorisation. And also at the back here you've got a couple of little things. This one here is obviously your deck shower, so when you're in off the back there, up your swim ladder onto the platform, this obviously pulls out to give you the ability to clean yourself off, shower off the seawater before you head on into your boat, activated by that trigger just there, and then this one is a connection also for a hose, but what that one is, it's a seawater deck wash off. So if, for example, you've been in and out of the boat all day, having great fun on your various inflatables and towables, and you may have got this area, or this area may need a bit of a clean off. In the cockpit locker here, there is a powerful pump there which drags in seawater and gives you the ability to connect the hose to that outlet there, and then give everything a hose down if you just need to clear that off. Obviously once you're back at the marina you might want to do that with fresh water as well, but certainly that ability to be able to pump through the seawater and clear off some of the excess is a really useful feature as well. And a very comfortable spot this is too, I have to say. Love these seat backs, which are really comfortable, but you'll see obviously also while I'm sat in this position that we've got an ability down here and down there to bring out some more seating, so let's just show you that. These are very simple to take out. It's just a lift up and a pull, and that has the seat sorted there, and we'll do this side as well. There we go. So again, extensive seating makes it into a really nice sort of U shape with all the seats out, and of course, last but by no means least, you've got the one here just at the rear of your helm station. So with that out as well, as you can see, you've got a really good space here. I'd say you probably could get almost all 11 people that you're allowed for the category C categorisation around this. The seating is just really extensive and gives a great facility, particularly if the sun's shining. Although it's not been hugely nice to us today down in Lymington, but at least it's not raining, folks, that's for sure. So yeah, some really nice seating around here, and you'll see as well, if you just catch the glimpse there, that's some of the LED lighting that's around the boat here, and there's also, if we just put that seat back, you can see it along here. It's down under the seat there, and then you can also see the little blue lights there, and you can just pick up that little blue LED there, and those blue LEDs are in a number of places around the boat and give a really nice finish as well, particularly in the evening with these lights on down low level at the deck. It's just a lovely space to be sat out in on a nice warm summer's evening. Okay, so let's have a quick look in the cockpit locker, give you an idea of the size there. Obviously lockable this as well, just a quarter turn on each side, and then the gas struts just help you to very easily lift it up. The table can stay in position there, as you can see, because that's now reached its extent, and you can see a really good size space down here. Obviously on the sides there and over here, those are the access points to your port and starboard fuel tanks. But let's just get you down into that locker area and you can see how big it is. There, so that's down in the depths there, and you can see straight away you've got some of your engine batteries and boat batteries there. You've also got, just in yellow hiding under there, that's your bilge, automatic bilge, that's controllable from the helm station. And then that was the just there, that's that seawater pump with the seacock out to get the water in through that very powerful pump there and up to that deck wash facility that I showed you there, that's just on the port side as you come into the boat. So let's just give you an idea of front to back, which is yeah, so 2.4 meters, so that's from that back wall there and then all the way to the back wall at the back there by the batteries. So that's 2.4 metres, and then from a width point of view down here we've got just over a metre, 1.001. So that is a really good size space, good depth as well, as you can see. And in terms of height, you're looking at from the cover there, looking at about what, nearly 700 deep. So a great storage space for all those bits and pieces you might need out on the water. And just before we head on out of that cockpit locker, then there you've got those simple to open, but there underneath you've got your fuel tanks there. This one's the port side fuel tank, 285 litres, so 570 litres total this boat will take. Okay, so let's climb on out of here, and incidentally you can just see the step there as well, which helps you get in and out of this locker space. And obviously if you are deck washing, then they're just in the corners there, you can see the drain points for that water. The gate here obviously is just one of those standard Jeanneau fits, just lifts and then drops down into place, giving a nice steady access, or a steady prevention of access when you're underway. And then just through that port side access, there you've got your engine battery cut-offs and house battery cut-offs, as well as your anchor battery cut-offs. Okay, so let's take you up to the fore of the boat, and you can see just before we do head up there, you can see that this has the, as I said, the optional T-top on it. It's got the lighting built into it, separate lighting switch to the lights that we've already seen around the deck area, but really nicely lit up, and a lovely addition, this T-top. Flexi teak on the side steps here, and of course you might have just seen there, caught sight of the speakers for the external speakers for the radio system. Obviously more speakers inside as well. So obviously you'll remember back to our CC 9cc film, that was where the deck keeps its recess here and gives you additional seating and table at the front there, whereas this one now steps up as you go, which then provides, as you'll see, a lot more space on that cabin underneath. But of course what you also get here, which is really nice, and hopefully I've overlaid a couple of photos on here by the time you're looking at this, just to show you what this area looks like when it's got its sun pad on. But you can see here that it's got these lift up backrests for your sun pad, both sides. It's also got the poppers here as well, you can see, which allow you to have a sun pad across this centerpiece as well, and that's what these little grooves are for. That's where your cushions fit into all these, and therefore the whole area here becomes a sun pad, which is absolutely fantastic, and really lovely space to be sat out the front of, relaxing. And then all the way up the front, we've got our anchor locker with our Lumar electric windlass. You can see in there we've got the remote control for the windlass. You've got your manual key there as well, which just slots in here and allows you to manually operate the windlass, together of course with chain and anchor. And you can see as well you've also got space there, probably for a fender or two as well. So so again, a really good generous size locker space at the front here. Navigation lights, obviously starboard and port, and there's those front cleats each side for when you're mooring up. You can see as well on the roof, got the VHF aerial. That's the Garmin 215 that we'll see inside at the Helm station. You can also see that little badge to Yamaha there. That's connected with the autopilot, and of course you've got your 360 navigation light in the centre there. You've obviously got an ability to open a sunroof, you can see there on the top there, just to let even more air in through, but it's a lovely open Helm station space as well, just with that screen that sort of comes up so far, but then just gives that, certainly if you're doing 40+ knots, gives that amazing feeling of speed when you're out on the water. Okay, so let's go back and have a look at the helm station. Both sides, incidentally, of the boat are a similar sort of width, so plenty of rails to grab onto as you go down. But you can see it's both starboard and port sides, both very similar to get down, and not difficult at all to make your way down and up either side of the boat. Black water there, just see with that black rim round the cap, that's your black water pump out. So as we work our way round to the helm station, see the seats here really nicely set together, some additional drinks holders just at the back there and some storage at the pockets in the rear. You've also got one of two fridges on the boat, which is lovely. Outdoor fridge there, little ice area there, and the perfect spot for a fantastic bottle of Peroni, oh yes, and some fizz, fantastic. So outdoor fridge, very nice too. Obviously bolster style seats that you'll remember a lot of these Jeanneaus have. The ability to obviously stand when it's in that position and just use it as a leaning post in effect. But then of course in the fully down position, a really nice space to, if we just sit ourselves up there, a nice space for your feet there, and then a really nice height here, just about eye level. The bar is there for me at 5'11". And a lovely spot to be sat out here, very nice. As we hinted at, of course, at the beginning there when we were just showing those electric steer engines, of course that's therefore got the fly-by-wire throttles. We've got the electric steering, so no more steering rams on this 2022 model. And you can also see the 12-inch plotter here, the GPS map 1223 plotter. It's got a couple of additions here that we haven't seen on some of the other Jeanneau walkthroughs we've done. This unit here is actually a wireless connection, so in effect therefore it doesn't have to be fitted into the console here, it could actually be anywhere else on the boat. Works off batteries obviously, and if you watch the screen there you can see that I can control just using this joystick, which is a turn. You can see as I turn it, it zooms in and out. You can also see if I actually use a down push, you can see the cursor moving as well. So it's got some great functionality. Daniel at BHG tells me that also the RNLI favour this type of interaction with the screen because it's very sensitive, this, and therefore in some of the very challenging weather that the RNLI go out in the UK coastal waters, then the last thing you want to be doing in a rough sea is to be trying to press something with your finger. Much easier to have a dial that you can interact with the display with. So yeah, first time I've seen that myself, and a really nice feature there. You can obviously get in using the buttons on it, get into all the functionality of the screen. Yeah, really nice setup that. Autopilot as well obviously on this boat, which of course works particularly effectively with the joystick there. It obviously gives you the ability to plot your course, to then set it into the autopilot, and the boat in effect then takes you to your desired location. Also, of course, the joystick gives you fantastic functionality in and around your berth. You obviously can control the boat from it, not obviously in any sort of high speeds, that's obviously back down to our throttles, but in and around the marina, sort of anything from 0 up to say 8-10 knots, then just small inputs on the device here which not only goes up, down, left and right, but it also rotates as well, so you can, and of course doing that action without introducing any forward and rear literally will spin the boat on the central point here if you wanted to. So you can imagine that if you're coming in on difficult water, be it tide, be it wind, and you're trying to maneuver and moor, then this gives incredible functionality and really good control. It works of course particularly well with the twin engines because you've got the ability for those two engines to then be working against each other to get even more stability. So very effective on two engines upwards. You can also see as well it's got one or two other functionality points here. It's got drift point, stay point and fish point, so they are also facilities where if for example you were to touch the stay point, that keeps you in exactly the position that you are currently facing. If you use the drift point function, then that will allow the boat to swing perhaps with the tide but it will keep it in the same position. But you could in effect, the boat could in effect rotate if the wind changed or the tide changed. And fish point itself, that's an ability where if, for example, you've got tide coming at the side of the boat, for example, and you wanted to position the boat in the best way for your lines and your bait and your fishing lines to be out, not to be floating back towards the boat and interrupt your day's fishing, then you use fish point, which sets the boat up and will keep it in position, your desired position, so that when you're fishing off port side or starboard side, you wouldn't have any of those issues with your bait and lines coming back towards and under the boat. So really good little functionality, that. Absolutely love that. It of course works, or in addition should I say, you've got your side power bow thruster at the front there. And then in terms of performance, once you've shifted from your joystick to the fly-by-wire throttles, you've then got the assistance of the automatic zip wakes. In fact, if we just power up some of those functions, you can just you'll get to see some of those displays coming to life there. Zip wakes powering themselves up. Zip wakes have an ability to manually program and indeed to manually adjust them if you wanted, but obviously, as you can see there, you've got a fully auto mode. If you wanted to see a little bit more about the zip wakes specifically in action, which we had the zip wakes on our 895, on the 795 we had Lenco trim tabs, and found that the change to zip wakes was a really good change, and we really like the zip wakes. Not for everybody perhaps, but we really liked them. And if you wanted to know a little bit more about that and that upgrade from Lenco's, then do have a look on our channel, where we've got a more in-depth film about the zip wakes and the way they help with performance. They're programmed of course to your boat, to the weight of the boat, to the size, and therefore they in effect they optimize and help optimize the speed, angle, position, and therefore perhaps fuel economy of the boat in general, just to sort of set and leave when they're in auto mode. You've got of course the CL5 Yamaha control with the electric steering. You've also got therefore other abilities from the CL5, steer friction for example. If we just touch that, you can see you've got regular or heavy, and that does what it says on the tin really, just makes the inputs on the wheel slightly more resistance or not. You've also got lock to lock assist. That's a really good one, in that what that does is if you wanted to go from full lock to full lock in as fewer turns as possible, then you can change those settings on there. So in effect it almost changes, if there were cogs in there, it changes that gear at that ratio, and therefore allows the engines to turn, say, in 1.5 full turns of the wheel instead of in 3, for example. So that is great functionality. And of course everything that you see on the CL5, that can obviously then be displayed up onto your Garmin information. So if we just press home there, you can see, if I scroll across to Yamaha there, then straight away, and then a center press to select, you've got that CL5 display up onto your Garmin 1223 there. So it is, between all of the systems there, it's an absolutely fantastically integrated electronics package. This gives, you know, the ultimate slow speed control. Absolutely tremendous thing. It also, because it's got the fly-by-wire throttles, there's also some additional functionality on the throttles themselves. Those are obviously the engine lifts, but you've got just there, if you can see it, if I touch that, you can see the blue lights come on, and what that allows is, once that's on, you've got an up and a down and a speed, and that really provides, without you having to adjust the throttles by hand, it provides tiny inputs of power, be it up or down, so that if you're trying to just increase the revs a tiny bit to get the ultimate planing position perhaps, then it means you can just have that tiny input with these up and down, rather than trying to feather the two throttles to get that exact spot. So it's just a sort of fine tune, if you like, but a really nice addition to those fly-by-wire throttles. And as well, you've got, and you probably remember it from one or two of the other fly-by-wires that we've seen, centre engine switch there is obviously if you've got a third engine, so that's not relevant here. You've got the single lever control, so once you activate that, you can now operate both engines from just the single lever. This one becomes in effect redundant. and obviously neutral hold, that's the ability to be able to increase the revs of your boat to without obviously it kicking the propellers forward or backwards. So that's the fly-by-wire controls for you. But as I say, it's a really nice package of electronics, particularly like that edition. That's really nice functionality, because even in our 895 where we had the 8410 XSV screen, I know exactly what Daniel was saying when he talks about, you know, when you're trying to tap something with your finger and then the boat suddenly moves and you end up tapping the wrong thing, because you're on the move and underway. So that is a much, you can sort of anchor yourself at the side and then just use that functionality there. So really like that addition. And of course, you know, it goes without saying that the autopilot, that electric steering altogether is just a fantastic package. So let's just knock off the power there. Okay, and then just obviously you'll see some of the standard type Jeanneau switches that we know well, probably now if you're followers of our channel. Those are the two switches that give you the either the deck lighting around the base of some of those seats we saw, or of course the lights up here. That's your electric windlass. But again, those of you who watch our channel regularly will know that we often favour the use of that remote at the front, because you can really then interact with your anchor well and see it well. Do check out our film about anchoring safely if you haven't seen that yet. Just goes into a bit more detail about that. Electric horn. That's your that's the control for that deck wash I talked about, the seawater deck wash, and that really powerful little pump down in the locker there. You've got your two bilges there, mid and rear bilges that we've seen already, or we've seen the rear one. Water pump, some more of the electronics for the radio and bits and bobs like that, and then obviously your navigation lights there. And a drinks holder there, the all important drinks holder of course. And you'll see that point, this is actually formerly would have been a drinks holder. This was a retrofit on this boat, hence it's got that sort of dark perspex there. But if you did opt for that from brand new, this is where they would sight the joystick anyway, in case you were wondering. So really nice compact helm station, bit of padding up the top there, your bearing compass on the top there, but very nice indeed that. So, and I swing round then, and before we go in, we've got yet more things to show you, because look at this. Look at that. Hot and cold water on this boat. You've got a 25 litre hot water tank in the depths of the boat, but a little single burner there as well. Sink and that plug, well, what more could you want? Wouldn't need to move from here really. Got my fridge there, got my Barbie there. What more could you need? Fantastic. Let's pop those charts back in of the local area. Drinks holders again there, a little bit of a cubby there for more storage, and then you can see this sliding door here. If we just lift up that at the bottom there, you can see that door that just slides across there, and has a little clip here to allow it to open. Are you enjoying it in there?
Yes, I am.
Isn't it very nice indeed?
Yes,
I'm loving this.
I love the layout in here, which you'll no doubt come and explore.
Yes, we are.
So,
we're coming in to have a look in there.
Yes.
Which it looks, and it's that change from the centre console, where with the WA you've got this much higher headroom in the master cabin here, which is really nice, isn't it?
It is, and having this seating area that obviously can convert into a berth is great. You know, so in the daytime it gets a bit chilly out there. You can just come and relax, or just an alternative place to come and relax and sit down and eat your food. Yeah, lovely.
It is. It's very nice. You'll remember some of our reviews of the smaller CC and WAs, you know, had little sort of, well, some did, some didn't have steps, but you can see this is a really nice substantial entry point into this. Good steps down into it, and you know, just that slight change from say the 7.5 to the 9 WA, you're just getting you know, quite a step change in how much you get and what you get and how much space you get. It's a really some really good step up, this 9 WA. I'm really loving this. Okay, so those just come down those nice substantial steps down into this cabin area, and look at this. Isn't this nice? Really good space down here. It's got the recessed LED lighting all the way around, mirror at the back there. There's that opening hatch there. Really nicely upholstered. Centre table, as Nikki was saying, if the temperature's dropped up there, you want to retreat indoors. And of course here you've got the second galley space. We have that tiny little one at the top of the steps just up here. So let's just pop this galley top off, show you into that. Just move that to the side there. And there, got your little cold and hot water sink there. In the cupboards up here, just a little more storage space in these cupboards. But in this left-hand one, cups and bits and bobs in there, but you can have a microwave option in there. Obviously that would only work on shore power if you had a microwave, or unless you went full on solar or generator, inverter, you know, you name it. But there is an option nonetheless for a microwave in there. And then down here you've got your second fridge that I mentioned. Plenty of storage space, icebox again, which is nice. And then obviously over this side just a little bit more storage, as you can see, under the sink there. And of course those all important wine glasses. Oh yes. Okay, and of course at the back of the galley unit, some little slidey doors as well. How good is that? Absolutely everything. Really nice little setup that. And incidentally, in front of that galley area, just for in terms of the floor to ceiling space, so from the roof space there down to that floor area where I stood showing you the galley area, that's 1.84 meters. So yeah, good space under here. Easy for me to stand because I'm only 5'11", but for some of you giants out there, you might have to duck a bit, but still a very nice space to work with. There's with those extra speakers I talked about when we were out on deck there, and you can see while I'm under here, you can see these recesses here in the seat, and that's this ability to take this table out. There's a framework that obviously goes on here, and which is the tabletop, and that allows you to convert this whole area into a berth. You've got just some storage there at the sides for your bits and pieces. See some bits and pieces stored there, which is useful. And of course this little piece of timber here, that fits in down the end there. So together with the tabletop and that little infill piece, you've then converted it into your into the berth, which we'll get you some measurements for in a sec. Oh, and let's just move that one out of the way before I slide in there. Oh look, there's the Jeanneau box. That's one of those things that's always in that Jeanneau bag. And I bet in here, if this is new, we're going to have polish, we're going to have some cable ties, might even have some electrical tape. Let's have a look. Whoa, look at that. Polish, yeah, a bit of deck wash. Yeah, there's the clips, there's the tape. Fantastic. We know what's in those, don't we, folks? We know what's in those bags and in those Jeanneau branded cases. Under these, of course, before we just do the dimensions, you can see that you've got some storage space there, velcroed down, and then if we just lift that, you can see there they're really good size spaces. They're obviously utilising all the voids behind there. There are similar spaces over this side and at the end there. So if we just lift that cushion up there and then open that hatch, there you go, and you can see your bow thruster down there with the grey top, together with battery and some more boat electrics here, hidden away in there. Tiny bit of storage perhaps if you wanted to put anything under there. So let's pop those back in. Right, let's give you an idea of size of this area. Okay, so let's get you a width at the front here, so we're sort of right up by the galley here. And if we ping it across to the laser over there, so that width 1.906, so 1 meter 906 mil. And then let's just get the front to back measurement in line with the end there. And that's 1.758, so from a point sort of virtually in a virtual line across here, back to that rear cushion there, then 1.758 meters. But I think you'll agree, a very nice cabin space. You can see, of course, as well, just on the end of the window there, you've got the pull across blinds, which give you an option there to get more privacy. Very nice indeed. Curtains obviously both sides. But that is a real difference, if you remember back to the 9cc we did, a real difference in terms of layout that you get down here when you go for the WA as opposed to the CC. Very nice too. Obviously a bit more, some other bits and bobs down here. Battery system for your bow thruster and or other electrics on the boat. And then, as I just turn to the right, you can see we've got a very nice heads area. So this is actually a really good sized one. In fact, if I think back to our 795, which was, and indeed the 795 Sport, which we did recently on the channel, this is actually a lot different, a lot bigger. You can see it's got this sort of clear plexiglass type separation between the sink area and the toilet, mainly because you've of course got the fittings there for the shower. You've got a separate pull out mixer tap for your shower, which then obviously lifts up and loops into there for your shower. Under there obviously is your opening window, let some of the steam out from your warm shower, and of course that switch just down there, that's the shower pump that sits below us here, which allows obviously all the water to be pumped out of the boat through your shower hole there. The sink again, that's also got a liftable out mixer tap, hot and cold, really nice sink that, and then a little bit of storage underneath here, and you can see that additional pipe in there for where you would be extending out that tap. But obviously the mains light there, recessed LEDs, mirror supplied towel rail, toilet roll holder, so really nice sized heads area that for what is a lovely 9WA. The toilet is a Jabsco, that's obviously a seawater flush, so the water drawn in through the sea cup just down there, water drawn in through that, pumped out by means of the pump here. This has got a sort of locked position. Once it's in the unlocked position there, it just gives the ability to pump water there, and whether you're bringing water in or out decides which way this switch is positioned. And the gas struts there if you wanted to have a seated shower. So yeah, really good size that. And of course under here, you'll probably know, is situated the access into some of those electronics from the Helm station, together with this access hatch here. There you go, you've got your electronics, gadgetry and the like, connecting up all those peripheral units with that spaghetti of wires that makes all the magic happen out on deck there. Good seal gasket round the door there, all the way around, so that if you are using it as a shower, then obviously you're not going to get any water ingress out into the main cabin area. So yeah, really good space that. Does what it says on the tin. Okay, so let's have a look at the second berth area as well. You can see straight away it's obviously got slightly less headroom, of course. Well, you've got this recess here, which is obviously gives you a bit more space, and I'll get a couple of measurements for you in a moment. But nonetheless, despite the headroom, there's still a lot of space here in the second berth. So let's just get the measure on that to give you a flavour of what's available. If we go from the edge in effect of the cushion here over to the back wall there, so the device obviously measures from the back here, so you can just see the laser point there. So width wise, so you've got 1.293, so that's very close to a standard 4'6" double, so really good size. And then if we just do the length across the back there, you can see the laser point just over there, and then that's at 1.933, so you know, really good size space that, both for adults and for smaller people. Absolutely no problem at all. In terms of the headroom, so you've got that recess just above us here where you've got a slightly more headroom, so let's just have a look at that bit. That's yeah, that gives you obviously that little bit more. It gives you 1.1 meters there, so potentially, you know, you could actually, if you're using this as a berth with your pillows at this end, then you can certainly sit up in bed, no problem with that. And then just under this bit where we're lower here, let's just have a look at that height for you. That is, yeah, about 566 mil from the top of the cushion up to the ceiling there. So yes, it is reduced headspace, but still a really good sized berth area. Not you know, not just a second really small for kids or whatever. It's a good adult sized berth area, that good double bed size. So let's have a little look in some of these nooks and crannies for you. Obviously a lot of the electrical systems sit over this this port side of the boat. And what I also like about these is nearly all the hatches down here are all hinged. And now I know that sounds odd, but a lot of Jeanneau hatches sometimes just have a simple hook here which you have to hook behind so that the hatch comes completely away, for example, when you want to open it up. So I actually like small details, but I like the fact that that it's hinged, so you don't have to keep trying to struggle to get the door back in the right position again, particularly if you've got limited headspace that we have in here. So that's a lot of your fuse systems, and then a little bit more of the same over this side. Electrical systems, blue and red for your water pipes and bits and bobs like that. You've got, as we work our way across, you've got, well, apart from obviously, as you can see there along that top shelf, you've got storage there, which is really handy. You can see this recessed LED lighting again, which is really nice. You've got some little cubby spaces perhaps for your mobile phones, for your iPads, whatever. For storage. And then obviously you've got these two areas over here, which if I just shunt around, it's also nice that these are hinged as well. So there's your black water tank there. That's your drop out for your black water. So if you're not pumping out at the marina, black water pump out facility, then if your local regulations allow, then obviously when you're out at sea, that's the alternative way to drop out your black waste. Not a great deal more storage in there, so that's just access. And then this one is a storage, could take some more storage, so there's none of your intricate systems in there. It's just simply a sort of storage space, not very deep, about what, a hand's depth to the back wall there, but still just that little bit more storage, using all those little voids and nooks and crannies that you can. And there you can see that's the chromed triple step that you see down into the cabin space here, which is really nicely finished actually. Very, very sturdy bit of kit that. And then obviously under the cushions of the rear berth, if we can just, you've got yes, you could probably do a little bit more storage, but I think more given over to some of the water systems there you see, and the water pump there under this particular bit. So let's just get that one back down and show you what's under these other two ones that I'm on at the moment. So under the first cushion, there you go, there's your fresh water tank underneath that bit. Just get that cushion back down, and then at the back here, just lift up the back there, you can see there's your hot water tank for those 25 litres of hot, to all those different water access points that we've seen around the boat. So let's get that last cushion back. There we go, so that's that secondary berth. So lots of storage, lots of little cubbies, nooks and crannies, lots of bits and bobs that keep the boat functioning well. And in fact, just as we're backing out here, I'm going to pop that cover off. That's that mid-bilge that you can see just at the back there, the yellow end. That's also controlled from one of those switches on the panel, and obviously the water pump here, which is probably your shower pump, I would think, from that switch that we saw in the shower area. So that's the rear area. Great spot that. Right, and there incidentally, that's now that we've popped the cushions back into this cabin area, that's the that nice sort of two-tone grey colour of the two massive sun pad cushions there. And those are the pieces of the cushion that just slide into those runners we saw on the deck there to allow you to secure the cushions down when you're underway. So that's the cabin space, folks. Very nice indeed, isn't it? Very nice. And oh, what do you think, Nikki?
Wow, what an amazing boat. It's,
isn't it?
You know, equipped with some amazing technology, as you pointed out, which makes manoeuvring the boat so much easier.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
You know, with the twin 250 horsepower engines,
yes,
this boat
look at
can
those monsters.
really fly.
Absolutely, faulty.
It's got a real sporty feel to it.
Isn't it lovely?
Yeah.
And look
amazing.
at that view out the front there, folks. Sat there, you can see yourself there, can't you?
Oh,
yeah?
absolutely.
You
yes.
can see yourself there.
Definitely. And yeah, I like the living space down below deck as well. It's
yeah, it is
nicely set out.
Yeah, with that height of the deck there, as opposed to the centre console, which just lowers that bit and gives you the extra seating. And if you remember that Robin, whose boat it was, it had the flexible canopies going out over the front and over the back of the T-top here. Whereas the WA gives you that lovely big seating pad, more space in there for that cabin space. As the alternative, same size boat, two different layouts completely, but both really nice indeed, aren't they?
Fabulous, yes.
Fab
yeah.
indeed. 40 plus knots, guys. 40 plus knots. Wind coming over the top there. God, you couldn't do much better, could you? I'm liking this. And there's something else just for you folks. We're just starting to cover up the boat. We can see the post in there which fits in, and then I'll show you the finished cover version, which gives you an idea of how easy this boat is to cover and leave when you're finished for the day. And there you go, single zip down there, strapped in down the bottom. Some of these little poppers around the side here, going all the way around over your screen. Cushions are stowed. How easy is that? The cushions for the that bench seat at the back there, they also stay on, so that's one bespoke cover which just straps on at the back there with some poppers. So really swift to do, quicker than our 895 was, definitely quicker than that, and leaves it lock and leave, as it were. Fantastic, love it. So that's it, the 9 Cap Camarat 9WA. Wasn't it a beaut? Wasn't it a beaut, eh?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Loved it. So if you've of course enjoyed the film, then do check out some of our other films on the channel with Jeanneau walkthroughs there, Jeanneau Powerboat walkthroughs. We've loved having you along again and look forward to meeting you again on our next film. Take care guys, and bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.